Welcome to another edition of Motoring 88.
Real fun is on the road.
This is Jim Kenzie for Motoring 90.
I'm Bill Gardner, Motoring 88.
This is the 2-Minute Test Drive.
It was several years ago at the LA Auto Show. It was the end of Media Day, and as I was headed to the exit, I noticed a concept car I hadn't seen before. It was a Subaru, and I remarked, this is the best looking Subaru I've ever seen. They should build it. Well, fast forward, we find ourselves on the beautiful coast of California in Monterey, and some of the locals actually told me this is Subaru country. So it seems only fitting that Subaru has selected this area for what they're calling their biggest launch ever. And I assume it's a vehicle that was inspired by that concept. It's a 2017 Subaru Impreza. So let's see if I feel the same way as I did all those years ago.
That concept is the dynamic and solid design language is what it represented. And the 2017 Impreza has the latest execution of that. It's the first Subaru with that design language. And we're really excited about the launch and the new global platform that underpins it. Styling is really important for this segment, and we really believe that this new design language and the new style of the Impreza is exceptional and really gives the car a premium look and feel, and it's sporty and aggressive as well. It's got an all-new direct injection 2-liter Subaru Boxer engine. It's got 152 horsepower, much flatter, broader torque curve. It also has a new Lineartronic CVT. It's got new 7-speed manual mode, so you have the ideal gear ratio for whatever situation you're in.
Now, the new Impreza is lower and it's a little longer than its predecessor. And Subaru says you still get a little more headroom and a little more what they call tow room in the back seat. They also say that we have more passenger space and cargo space than the competition. And you know, Subaru has been on a roll of late. They've gone 5 consecutive years with record sales, and they hope this vehicle will continue them in that direction. And what they're hoping for is they might attract some customers from their 2 biggest competitors.
We compete across the entire compact car segment, but our 2 closest competitors are the Volkswagen Golf and the Mazda 3. And we find with the new sporty design language of the vehicle, as well as the new Subaru Global Platform and chassis and handling dynamics, we're really hoping that the new Impreza will be incredibly competitive against these vehicles. So there's this new oblique crash test. It's essentially designed to simulate the worst case head-on collision, which is traveling at about 90 kilometers an hour. So it's an incredibly severe collision. There's a lot of energy involved. And with this new oblique crash test, Subaru designed the Impreza so that if and when it comes into effect, the vehicle would be able to exceed the standards of the test and protect occupants in that collision.
Now, we all know Subaru has taken the flack over the years for bland design. Well, not anymore. That includes the exterior and the interior of this vehicle. Lots of black leather with red stitching, and that includes the steering wheel. Nice, comfortable seats, and as it should be, knobs and dials. We've also got available heated steering only in Canada and a standard backup camera. Now, what you're looking at right now is automatic backup braking. Great idea. However, a lot of mom and dads tell me that because of this, a lot of their children have lost the art of writing, let alone just adding and subtracting. Now, I know semi-autonomous and autonomous cars are in the future, but I wonder someday if your son or daughter, well, they might not even know what a rear view mirror is.
The proposition for the sedan is exceptional. It's got fantastic styling. Even though it's a declining segment, we're really hoping to capture additional market share with sedans as well.
The new Impreza is being assembled at Subaru's plant in Indiana. It's the first time an Impreza has been built outside of Japan, but obviously the Japanese are not upset because Japan has selected the Impreza its car of the year. Only the second time that a Subaru has won in 37 years. The first one was back in 2004, and that was for the Legacy.
You know, it's got the all-new interior, all new exterior design language, the new infotainment system with standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so it's got the connectivity that customers in this segment are looking for. It's got everything that a customer in the segment or in Canada really could ask for.
You got a winner here?
We believe we do, yeah.
I've got a new hero, and I don't even know his name. More later on Kenzie's Corner.
Motoring TV is brought to you in part by Stark Auto Sales, a better way to buy a car.
In a very competitive segment, you have to keep up or you get left behind in a hurry. On this edition of Test Drive, the Kia Forte 5. Put your hands in the air. In the hot hatch segment, having the right mechanicals wrapped in boring sheet metal just does not work. The Forte 5 SX brings a sharp Euro-inspired look. Yes, it's still the same typical two-box design, but the sweeping roof line, strong character lines and xenon headlights, along with the LED positioning lights and sharp tail lights, transform it from frumpy to fancy. The red line sitting in the front grille, well, it then mimics the Volkswagen GTI. The cabin of this Forte 5, especially the SX, comes loaded. Great materials, heated and cooled front seats, heated rear seats, very nice instrumentation, and a full-on infotainment system that includes navigation. Now, if you go with one of the lesser models, the LX or the EX, that does not have navigation, fear not. You simply hardwire your phone into the infotainment, and what appears on this screen appears right there. So I've got the navigation up, so it's as though it's a part of the car. Just watch your data consumption. The Forte's new look is supported by an equally strong work ethic. While the mainstream models arrive with a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, the SX gets a 1.6-litre turbocharged 4 that generates 201 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque at 1500 RPM. The early arrival of peak torque dispenses with turbo lag and brings a brisk response to a deep stab at the gas. It really does put hot in hatch. This engine then drives the front wheels through a 7-speed twin-clutch transmission, complete with paddle shifters on the D-shaped steering wheel. It's a slick shifting affair that bumps through the gears quickly and seamlessly. One of the unexpected pluses with the rework of this Forte 5 is the level of safety equipment you get on a car that costs way less than $30,000. Now, this hatchback, it's got blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, lane departure warning, and lane keep assist, where it actually uses the steering to keep you in the lane. If you move up from this hatchback to the sedan, you can also get auto emergency braking. It looks for pedestrians and cars, and in the event that there's going to be a crunch, it will stop the car. All of that is pretty heady stuff for an entry-level car. The Forte 5 earns Kia's Drive Mode Select. It alters the throttle response, shift points and the weight in the steering. Eco is for the birds, Normal is perfect for driving around town, but when it's time to have fun, pick Sport Mode. Now the Forte 5 runs to 100k in 7.3 seconds, and it accomplishes the more important 80 to 120 passing move in 5.2 seconds. Both times are quick enough to make it a serious player in the segment. This Forte 5 comes with a lot of utility. The back seat's got plenty of space for two adults, and when you get to the back end, there's just over 23 cubic feet of cargo space with the seats upright. Fold them down, you get a nice flat floor and 56.4 cubic feet of cargo space which is a lot for a compact car and better than many in the segment. The extensive use of ultra-high strength steel throughout the body brings a solid base of operations for the SX's Sport Tune suspension. As a result, the handling is accomplished without feeling harsh. The upsized 225 40R18 tyres then reduce understeer when the car is pushed towards the limit, and there's less unwanted stability control intervention. These traits, along with a sharp steering, saw the Forte 5 devour the pylon test. The revamp of this Forte 5 makes a good car even better. I like the addition of the safety technology. It's got better powertrains, a stronger chassis, it handles nicely, and the cabin of this SX is very nice indeed. In other words, it sets a very high standard for the segment.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a drive.
Oh, there's 2 sunroofs. I like it. 1998 Ford Ranger.
It's actually a 2010. This is an XLT Super Cab.
I don't even know what that means. There's less than this?
Yeah, there's the base model.
I thought this was the base model. Why does anyone get a Ford Ranger?
You just need a truck just to like haul shovels, tiki torches, super soakers, logs on fire.
So this is like the go-to budget truck.
Everyone knows how this thing drives on the road, just like any other truck. So why not try it off-road? So we're currently rear-wheel drive mode, 2 high.
Does it have all-wheel drive?
It does.
Oh, sick.
Let's put it in 4 high. Imagine if you were playing with the radio for the first time, you'd try and use the volume. It looks like a volume knob.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're supposed to go down this trail. It's pretty tight, but I'm obviously going to take this way faster than I should.
This is on you, man.
Listen, I have 1 episode of off-roading experience now. I'm basically a pro. Now we're going to find out what 4 low is, because we're going to need it. Let's do this.
You know, I bet you my Honda Element could do most of this too.
No, it can't.
Yo, for sure it could.
Look at this.
Real-time, all-wheel, 4-wheel drive.
That's fake 4-wheel drive. You don't have a low-range gearbox.
I don't even know what I have.
Yes! Yeah, baby.
Okay, very capable.
Yes.
Very capable.
I think I'm turning into an off-road guy.
You're not turning into an off-road guy.
I am. I love off-roading now. These back seats are horrible. There's like no room back there. I would never sit in the back of this.
My Honda can definitely fit as much stuff in the back as this.
No, it can't.
Yeah, I can.
There's no way.
100%.
I'll bet you.
Let's bet.
Okay. If you could fit an ATV in it, I'll sit in the back for the rest of the review.
Deal. Like a glove.
This is the worst bet I've ever made. Well, thanks for at least taking the headrest off. I can't believe you actually fit that in there.
Yeah, I can't believe you fit in there. Oh, this is a relatively comfortable driving position.
I regret everything. Okay, don't take bumps too fast. It hurts.
Too bad. This is off-road territory. Jacob loves off-roading. I think my Honda can do this.
The seat is the worst.
Yeah. If my Honda can do this trail, then my Honda's better than this.
If your Honda could do that trail, I'll sit in the back of your Honda with no seat. Want to make a bet?
Okay.
Why do I make these stupid bets? So much tire slip, you're not gonna make it. No. Oh, sh. No. Oh, you made it.
Honda.
Damn it.
Honda.
Damn it. Damn it. This is definitely not my day.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 2018 Traverse.
Our motoring tip of the week concerns a moment of inattention. We're here at Stark's today, one of our sponsors. Today is auction day. There's lots happening here, lots of noise in the background. And if you saw our Car of the Year show, the 2017 Car of the Year for motoring was the Mazda CX-9. Now, fantastic car, and from a hardware standpoint, it's got every safety feature you could put in a modern car. This one happens to be all-wheel drive, and it's on 4 brand new Michelin Latitude X-Ice 2 tires. As good a winter tire as money can buy, full tread depth. The little nibs are still in the tread, that's how new they are. Yet a moment of inattention can devastate the car and cause all this damage. It's a write-off. Now, structurally, the superstructure of this car, from what I can see, doesn't seem to be harmed, but there's so much damage to all the peripheral components in the front of the car that it writes it off. One good thing about being here though today and seeing all this, from a mechanic's perspective, it gives me a great idea the next time I'm working on a CX-9 where some of these things are located. So with the front end torn off the vehicle, we can see the windshield washer reservoir here, just ahead of the right front tire, the rear washer pump, the front washer pump, around back here, the wiring and the sensor for the low reservoir. This is the low note horn right here, and on the other frame horn on the other side is the high note horn. Here in the front of the vehicle is the power steering cooler, completely hidden if the front end is on the vehicle, and lots of other components too. The primary crash sensors, there's lots we can see in here, so it's almost like looking at a cutaway vehicle. So just keep in mind, no matter how good the vehicle is from a hardware standpoint, how good of tires you've got on it, a moment of looking down and typing LOL and hitting send, bang, it's over. That's your motoring tip of the week.
Now, ahead of the official press launch and the arrival of this vehicle in Canada next April, we got a sneak peek at the second generation all-new Audi Q5. The latest Q grows in most dimensions, with the trunk space rising by 10 litres to a maximum of 610, yet it is now 50 kilograms lighter than the outgoing TFSI model. This not only helps the power-to-weight ratio, it makes the Q feel lighter on its 20-inch tyres. The fact it's now based on the A4 platform also helps to hone the driving experience. Ditto the addition of a new adaptive air suspension. It alters the damping and the ride height. On road, it proved to deliver the best of all worlds. The cabin of the Q5 takes a big step forward. The materials are obviously off the top shelf, the seats are very comfortable, and there's a boatload of electronics along for the ride. Audi's virtual cockpit arrives in the Q5. It puts a 12.3-inch screen behind the steering wheel, and it can be customized to show a normal dash or highlight the navigation aspects. The up-level Q also has a freestanding 8.3-inch infotainment system. As a package, it comes together very nicely. Now, when this car arrives in Canada, it's going to arrive with Audi's 2-litre turbocharged 4. It's been reworked, so it now produces 252 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque at 1600 RPM. Now, that's enough to get you to 100 kilometers an hour in 7 seconds, which is more than enough for everyday use. Down the road, well, you can look for a hybrid and perhaps an SQ5. The power reaches the road through a 7-speed twin-clutch transmission and Quattro Ultra all-wheel drive. This version of Quattro uses 2 clutches to disengage the rear axle when it's not needed. This saves precious drops of fuel. When it is needed, it takes just 250 milliseconds to bring it back online. Now, it works equally well both on and off-road. This new Q5 takes some big steps forward, and the outgoing car was no slouch. It's got much more sophistication to the look, a much nicer cabin, it's got a better all-wheel drive system, and if you can get that adaptive suspension, the driving dynamics are everything they should be.
And now our choice as Car of the Year for 1993. That honour goes to the all-new Chrysler LH models, the Concorde, the Vision, and of course the Intrepid that we tested mid-year. All in all, these cars are going to redefine the largest and certainly most lucrative segment of the market.
All right, there you have it. Congratulations to Chrysler and all our winners.
Motoring TV closed captioning is brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Yes, I have another police officer hero. I think that's the second one this year. Anyway, this guy works for the Winnipeg Police Department. And why is he my hero? Because he wrote a $237 ticket to a guy for having too much snow on the roof of his van. I say, yeah, bring it on, buddy. Now, the only thing he could find in the Manitoba Highway Traffic Act that looked like made this illegal was an insecure load. Now, the motorist, needless to say, was complaining about that. He said, there's nothing in the Highway Traffic Act that mentions snow. Yeah, but you got 10 centimeters of snow on the van roof? That is a load, and it is insecure. I'm sure all of us have experienced this at some point or another. A whole bunch of snow flies off the roof of another car, smacks you in the windshield. It takes a while to find the wiper switch and clean that off. It's really dangerous. Of course, the transport trucks are the worst. They got a football field full of snow and ice on the roof of some of these things. When that hits you, it's like a house falling on your car. You'd think the depots where these trucks park would maybe have some kind of a rotating bristle brush to clean the roofs off, but they just don't. The other thing about winter driving, of course, that drives me crazy is people that don't clean the snow off the back of their car because they can't see you coming from behind. Now, you'd think some of these cars have rear wipers. These guys are too lazy to even flick those things on. It's absolutely insane. Get out, clean the car off. Now, if you happen to be seeing this during our summer reruns and there's no snow around, like there really isn't today, for those of you who think in the summer you can carry a mattress on the roof of your car, tied down with 2 pieces of string and holding onto it with your hand, you can't. I'm Jim Kenzie.
So is the Impreza the best looking Subaru on the road today? Well, you, the customer, will decide that. But I think it's the best looking Impreza they've ever built. And I think it just might attract a younger audience. I mean, you got all-wheel drive, an available 5-speed manual, quiet ride, nice design, and the list goes on. But if I had one pet peeve, it's the choice of having only one engine or lack of choice. But don't get me wrong, this engine is more than adequate. However, I think like some of the competition, it might be nice, at least as an option, to have something with a little more punch, more sporty feel to reflect what I think is almost a performance-looking vehicle. Of course, you could always go for an STI, which is hardly a consolation prize, if you know what I mean. Before we go, Motoring TV and the Car Guide have joined forces to bring you what we think is the best one-stop automotive site in Canada. Stories by leading Canadian writers, more videos, and 30 years of Motoring TV archives. Check out our TSN broadcast schedule and join us on Facebook and Twitter for the total Motoring TV experience. That's it for now. We'll see you next time up as we continue to bring you more stories about cars and the people who drive them.
I think what's happened is they've kind of gotten in a cycle of not having a fresh car up against some really great cars, which is the RAV4 and the Ford Escape, which have redone themselves and made themselves more muscular, aggressive, all the things that Honda says this new CR-V is.